May is long gone, but I still want to offer the last segment from the May Marine Madness series that I was working on. So today we do have the grandfather of all natural horror films, Jaws. The film was based off of the novel written by Peter Benchley. In turn, the novel was based off of the Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916. And all I can say to myself is, why didn't the sharks get a reality series instead? That definitely would have been a lot more intriguing. But basically it was just a very odd time in history. There was an extreme heat wave. There was also a polio epidemic, which was pushing people towards the waterways. It is assumed that perhaps this is what drew in the sharks. There were a total of 5 attacks and 1 survivor. In popular culture, Jaws has inspired numerous theme park rides. There have also been numerous game adaptations, including the recent remake, Jaws Ultimate Predator, which was released for the Nintendo 3DS. Benchley did adapt his novel for the big screen, which of course was in turn directed by the 25-year-old Steven Spielberg. Neither did return for any of the sequels. I honestly don't blame them, but the film itself was actually pretty good. It is a landmark film, so obviously no one wants to believe the local sheriff that there are sharks attacking. They also refuse to shut down the beach because they do not want it affecting their tourist economy, as this is what Amity Island thrives off of. Gradually the townfolk do come to realize there are sharks. In some scenes there are just a few yokels just going out trying to collect prize money or reward money. You have groups of boats just going out dumping blood in the water. It's, I guess, meant to be somewhat of a serious scene, but I find it just a bit comical. Eventually the biologist as well as one of the captains do head out along with the sheriff to try to capture or do away with the creature. One of my favorite scenes in the movie was the bonding scene where they are below deck, they're comparing and sharing their scar stories, and this is the first time you actually see people from these different walks of life just getting along and no longer butting heads. So it's definitely a very fun scene in itself. The shark, of course, is rigged with some sort of a harpoon and explosives, so he is just pretty much blown to smithereens. The sequel itself, Jaws 2, is not much different from the first. Obviously, the sheriff is once again telling the townfolk that they do have a shark problem. He is once again being ignored, and in turn, his older son Mike, who obviously growing up on an island, he does have a yacht of his own. He sneaks out, goes out with some of his friends. He just basically winds up being cornered by this one psychotic shark. Obviously, it's a different shark since our first shark was exploded. We do have a scene in which an amphibious boat does try to rescue them. The boat in turn is attacked. The sheriff or the father does come to the rescue, does manage to save them, and in this turn, rather than blowing up the shark, he is electrocuted. Part 2 was maybe... it wasn't that bad a film, I just didn't care for it as much. I did like 3. I did like 3 a lot better. I did find it an interesting touch that it did take place at SeaWorld. I thought that was very interesting. I also like the fact that Dennis Quaid does play the part as an older Mike, which, you know, all things considered, he's actually pretty easy on the eyes, and I was actually pretty surprised since I hadn't seen any young Dennis Quaid films, so that was very pleasant. But I do remember the film from my younger years, and it definitely does remind me why I have this fear of going to SeaWorld and seeing the aquariums, just this one irrational fear of sharks just bursting through glass and attacking people. Obviously it came from this film, but I now know where that fear comes from, so thank you very much, and that's probably why I haven't been to SeaWorld in years. The final Jaws film, Jaws the Revenge, really doesn't make too much sense to me. Obviously the younger brother is attacked, he is pulled from the boat and gnawed on by the shark. This shark, I have no idea who it is, since there's no way it could, as far as I know, be related to any of the other sharks, since they've always been done away with. So I really don't know where the whole phrase, the revenge, comes from, unless he's some distant shark relative that received some sort of a wire message that his family were being killed off by a family of humans. Yeah, there really is no point in rationalizing this one. But obviously the younger son dies. The older son, Mike, who is now a biologist, talks his mother into going to the Bahamas with him, just to get away from everything, just kind of alleviate herself from her grief. Obviously, there is some reference in the film to the husband also having been attacked by a shark and losing his life. Irrationally enough, the film does say that, and I do not know if this is accurate or not, but the film does state sharks do not care much for warm water, yet it does happen to appear at the island. It does attack them. It does try to make a swipe at the granddaughter. The mother at one point heads out on a boat on her own to, I guess, just sort of offer herself up to this murderous fish. She is rescued. Obviously, the shark is once again done away with, but one pleasant surprise in this film is the fact that we have Michael Caine in the film. I thought that was just very awesome, although I honestly didn't know he was in the movie, so didn't care too much for Jaws the Revenge either. As far as the whole films in the series, obviously the first is my favorite. That did lay a lot of groundwork for the series, which did continue. There were also a lot of rip-off films which were spawned from Jaws. A great deal of those are films which we've already discussed during Marine Madness, which were Orca, Tentacles. Another one was Barracuda. Piranha was another one which was a ripoff. One of the reasons we did not discuss Piranha is because I have previously done reviews for that, but if you are interested, I will go ahead and attach a link and you can check that out on your own. So aside from the first film, I would definitely say Jaws 3 was also one of my favorites from the series, which would be the SeaWorld installment. And if you look back at some of the modern day films, or I guess 2000 era, 99 to 2000 era, we do have a lot of films, posters paying homage. We do have Lake Placid with the Jaws preparing to snap over a woman as well. Deep Blue Sea does the exact same thing. Piranha itself also had a similar thing, except rather than rising, it does have a piranha, a gigantic piranha rising from below to attack a woman. So the poster itself has also been recreated on a great many occasions. But this is the last and final installment for May Marine Madness, and I hope you have enjoyed the series, and I will talk to you later.